This is the Fix Your Sciatica podcast. So let's talk about this patient advocate program. Been talking a lot about it over the past couple of weeks, and a lot of people, when they work with me or they have calls with me, they're like, "What is this?" And the patient advocate program is, in essence, a very accessible way for you to receive help from me. You don't necessarily have to meet with me virtually to do these sessions, and we can actually communicate either via text message or email, whatever is the most convenient for you. And today's special guest is actually the person who inspired this program, because she was my first client going through this and was extremely successful. And I said, well, why can't I apply this to the other folks that I'm working with? So today I have my good friend Meg, who was the inspiration for this program. So Meg, thank you so much for being on today's episode.
Thank you. Well, thanks for all your help. I'm more than happy to do it. Can't recommend getting help highly enough and not waiting.
Yeah, it was really amazing because just to kind of a little backstory for you listeners, Meg and I have been friends for a while, but Meg and my wife are actually really good friends, and so for a number of years, Meg knew that I was a PT, but we live on different ends of the country, different coasts, and so I'll let Meg tell the story, but yeah, Meg, tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of like what your pain journey was like leading up to us doing something together.
Sure. So I was always into sports growing up. Mostly I was a swimmer, but played all kinds of sports. And then after, I would say college, took up running. So I was running all the time and did a couple half marathons, and kind of just somebody that always feels good when you're moving. I just like it. It makes me feel better. So it's a big deal to me. And now I have three children, and they're 7 and 8 now, but one of them requires help with walking. He has a rare genetic disorder. So not only just working out, it's very important to me that I'm able to move and move efficiently to be able to help him and just to be in have my body be as healthy as possible. So I think possibly the root of the issue was one of the mornings when my son was in kind of like a pack and play type thing. So he was really low, and I just got out of bed to get him, and I just lifted him incorrectly is where I think this kind of all started. And so believe it or not, that was my first son. So I probably got help from Ashley only 2 years ago. So I went on and off with this pain, which was really affecting my lifestyle significantly towards the end. So about 5 years before I got help, 5 to 6 years, which is a huge regret of mine, because after I asked Ashley, his wife, and I were talking, and she's like, you really should reach out. So I finally did. And I really just wish I'd done it sooner, because like I said, working out's really important to me. I was at a point where I would go up to work out on our treadmill in the morning, and I was telling Ashley, I have about 30 minutes, my kids are sleeping, and it would take me 10 minutes. Literally, I would be so tight and had such little mobility that just to sit on the treadmill or to lean forward to get my sneakers on in the morning was so much pain. One of the things that would really be ridiculous was to put my pants on, right? For me to stand upright, and then I couldn't pull my knees up without having crazy pain. So I would be it sounds crazy. I felt like at my age, and for someone who thought they were pretty active, I'd have to be sitting on the edge of the bed, or I'd be leaning on the wall in my laundry room. And I was like, this is crazy. But I didn't have the time to really go to PT or get help. So I just kept putting it off. And I kind of also had been oh, you know what? You hear everybody has back pain. I'm getting older. So I didn't do anything about it. And looking back, I should have never done that, because after I spoke with Ashley, asked me a lot of questions about what I was feeling with pain, about lifting the kids, how I had been carrying the kids. And through, I think, one, maybe two conversations, and then texting back and forth, series of exercises. I don't think it was like 6 weeks, not even. And I was like out of pain and have been like ever since. I still do the exercises, but like night and day. And my biggest regret is that I didn't get help sooner. Like I went on that long and was totally unnecessary. I could have had it fixed so much sooner.
I think that's, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, being a parent, and we were just discussing like right before we started recording, like being a parent, like your entire life is dedicated to your kids, right? And so the aches and pains, the things that you're experiencing, you're like, okay, I have this issue, but I don't have time to address it because you have to focus on taking care of your kids. And it made me think, like when I work with the clients, and especially at this point in my career, I'm at a point where I'm thinking, well, how can I make things easier for the people that I work with? Because a lot of times, like early in my career, I would like give these people like these really long, convoluted exercise programs, and they're like 15 to 20 different exercises long. But then all of a sudden they come back to me and they're like, well, none of this is working. And then really one of the big questions I would ask them is, well, are you doing your exercises? And they would say, no, because this is like too long. I don't have time for this. And I realized that you only need maybe about 10 to 15 minutes a day to actually even just like fix your pain, but then get yourself ready for your day. And it worked particularly well for you because you only had 30 minutes to work out. And so being able to give you that convenience was one, I kind of stumbled upon that when we started like texting back and forth,
right.
But it got confirmed when I think I ended up giving you like 3, maybe 4 things to do. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling a lot better. And it was exciting for you to get back into living your life. And which I'm so excited for it. Yeah, because you're a busy mom. Like you have 3 kids and then you also work. So pretty much I'm just amazed, like you and your husband, like just getting the amount of sleep. I mean, my wife and I, we need to have our 8 hours of sleep, but I know that once we have kids, it's going to be a lot less. So it's really amazing. And so, you know, when it came to just like texting back and forth, like what was, I think I know the question, but like texting back and forth and just like trying to give you the exercises and making sure that you're getting check-ins and making sure you're making improvements. Like what was the best thing about that? Just like texting back and forth.
Well, I would say based on how the exercise went, then you could give me changes. But honestly, I think one of the best things was having the video, because you would send the video of you doing the exercise. So I always kind of like I incorporated it into like what my workout at the time, and basically because I couldn't do my workouts the way I wanted to because of the back issue I was in. So I was like, all right, well, we're going to just roll this all together. So I'd just be walking right on the treadmill. And then I'd like prop up the video and, you know, I'd just be walking like slowly, sort of warming up and then watch it like 2 to 3 times. And then if I needed to, I'd set it up next to me on the floor because like I need that. Like I wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly, but I could watch it like 10 times. Do you know what I mean? And anytime I wanted to. So it wasn't like I was trying to remember what you told me in a session. Like every time you were modeling it for me. So I would just like rewatch it. And then, you know, I usually would watch it and then prepare, but I can tell you there's times I'd be like walking, watch it, be like, all right, get off the treadmill to do it. And then I'd find myself like bringing the phone over because I'm like, am I in the right position? Or, you know, until I learn them. But then I give you feedback, you change them. I think I wasn't lifting correctly. And you really taught me about that. And I continued doing the exercises to strengthen like my core and parts of my body that I know I will need to lift. So those have, you know, there are a lot of the exercises I still do. They're just part of my routine. But the videos were huge because if I'd been somewhere and somebody had shown me, I guarantee you it would not have been as effective as me being able to rewatch it and watch it while I'm doing it. So that it was huge. And then you were tailoring everything just based on my feedback. And that could be like right away. It wasn't like I had to wait until a couple days till the next session, like based on what happened. And you would always, reach out to me, and then I could provide you feedback right away. So we changed it, I think, even faster than if it was going to an appointment, which I probably couldn't have made anyway.
This episode is brought to you by the Patient Advocate Program. Are you tired of not having support between your rehab sessions? Introducing the Patient Advocate Program, and we're focused on your recovery, and we're offering you 24/7 access to a doctorate of physical therapy. Stop waiting in line to be seen and stop spending hours doing long exercise programs. Imagine being able to get all of your care delivered straight to your phone. Best of all, it's affordable. We believe everyone deserves top-notch relief without breaking the bank. So why wait? Take control of your health today and visit ptpatientadvocate.com and book your free call with our experts. You brought up a really, because you're so busy, it's hard to set aside, usually physical therapy sessions or just treatment sessions are about 45 minutes to an hour long, right? But that also doesn't include travel time, right? Travel time. And I mean, even though we all have cars, even an extra 10 to 20 minutes, you add that plus your session, you're looking at 2+ hours of just trying to manage it. And that's why we were able to really, get a lot of work done through this. And so, and I know that you've just been really killing it, Meg, and it's exciting. And I'm just so excited for you to now that you broke free from this pain, we can focus on other things.
So another thing real quick, one of the reasons too, I was I have to get help with this. I was still trying to push through it, and I was trying to do the exercises I used to do in pain, through pain, or I was I'm going to hurt myself because I wasn't doing them correctly because I couldn't. And so that I was and it's just, I can't believe how quickly I got help after trying to do that. And the other thing was I was I didn't feel I felt with the back pain, if I was going to fall or something, everything was off. I was my movements were off, my responses were off because I wasn't reacting to things that I used to. So I just can't believe that I went on basically 5 years dealing on and off with this, and the help, just talking to you. And I basically did it in the same time that I had rolled into I'd had to modify my exercising so much. I was just really on the treadmill anyway. And all I had to do was get off and do the exercises a little while. So it wasn't taking me any more time than the time I'd already set, because my workout was already impacted because of the pain. So it really, I was just can't recommend it enough, because I don't let it keep going, because I thought everyone talks about back pain, and I'm totally pain free now, and went on for so long like that, and you don't have to. So
yeah, I think a lot of people think this pain is just a normal process of aging.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, because the reality is that we are going to feel stiff. Stiffness is going to be a normal thing. I wake up stiff in the morning and I just need to move around a little bit. But when it's painful and it's impacting your life, yeah, that's not normal, and you should definitely change it. I'm so glad. It's unfortunate, as you said, you had to wait, a couple of years, but I'm so glad that now, I'm here for you, which is great. And hopefully that, as you, hopefully we'll just keep all these injuries and all the pain at bay. But in the event that it does happen, I'm right there. Just via text messages, just make it a lot easier for you. So.
Yes, I don't. Because honestly, I would probably still be in the same position if it meant I had to go in person. Like I said, 3 kids, they're going 3 different directions. I know everybody else, whether it's your work or kids, you don't do it because you just can't get there. But I think this was better, I have to be honest. It's not it wasn't as though it was this is an alternative, I can't get there. I think this still worked out better than if I had seen someone in person, especially being able to use the videos and then have the instant feedback, as opposed to waiting to have to go back to the office and trying to remember what somebody had shown you, and as opposed to just having it at your fingertips. So.
For sure. I mean, and in addition to that, like having to remember everything that they showed you, but also like say if you're seeing someone maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, you actually have to recollect the past like 72 hours
Yeah.
of what, that's a lot of information that kind of eats into your time when it comes to trying to like reflect. And then also like you go to a busy clinic, it's hard. Like there's a lot going on. Like it's already pretty distracting. So yeah, being able to have that instant feedback. I mean, ultimately, a 1 hour session is like 4% of a 24-hour period. So what that means is like as like the further removed you are from those sessions, like the more and more details that like happen throughout the day, and being able to make those real-time changes allows us to actually nip things in the butt and really address the problems that we need to address. And so yeah, Meg, I really thank you for sharing this journey. It's awesome. It really, again, it's listeners, this story and working with Meg was the inspiration behind the Patient Advocate Program, because if you are busy, if you cannot actually make time to actually meet with someone virtually for an hour once a week, an hour twice a week, or even go to a clinic, the Advocate Program is a really great way to implement convenience, but also effectiveness as well. And I think that a lot of people confuse, like if something's convenient, it's not going to work. But here we have Meg, who really has been able to show that communicating just back and forth via text message and making those changes actually does work. And so it's very, very cool, Meg.
Thank you.
Now with that, right, let's talk about the future, right? In regards to what you're looking most forward to. And you have 3 growing kids, the most adorable kids, and I love seeing them. But what's on the horizon for you now that we pretty much, made your back pain go away? What's next?
Yeah. Well, honestly, so things that we love to do and we can do with the kids, like skiing. But that was another thing. And during that time, they were too young and we hadn't, but it would like weigh on me because I'm like, I told you, I was like afraid to fall, or I knew I couldn't do these movements to save myself. So everything is kind of kid-based. So lots of skiing, hopefully in the winter. Like we love to be active, love to be outside. So my son, who needs help, is like walking better than ever. Like he still needs to hold your hand for assistance. But like lots of just helping him, getting him walking. My kids are learning like to ride waves and surfing. So like those are all things like we love teaching them. Like they're kind of where they were like just learning to swim, kind of like swim team stuff now. We love paddling. So now for me, everything's kind of focused around them and like teaching them all this stuff outside really that we like to do. I've thought about maybe doing the half marathon stuff again. We'll see. Like, I think that's something that's sort of reasonable to train for while with the amount of time that I have. So sort of like that, but like they're learning to play tennis. We love tennis. So I'm really like focused on keeping, like being able to teach them all those sports. And then, yeah, I just set aside mine. Like usually it's half hour. Some days that are better than others are 50 minutes. And the days that like, I don't have any time, I always squeak in like the 20 minutes, But even in those times, like I said, still doing like the exercises, I'm usually on and off treadmill or stopping if I'm running to work them in. But my goal now, I'm like, it's more like fitness than training. Like I'm just like staying active and mostly want to be like healthy and fit enough to teach them and do all this stuff with them, like skiing, and be able to like keep up with them as they get older. And so just kind of maintaining like fitness to keep up with them. And then I'll think about, like I said, maybe they have marathon training because I like it. I just like being active. Like I don't like, I would like say fitness. Like I like working out. I wouldn't say I'm at like a training where I enjoy like I would do the half marathon if it's set like a very reasonable goal, but just working out is something that I like feel better when I do it. So they're just,
I love that.
Being active with them is kind of the goal moving forward.
Yeah, that's so much fun. And yeah, next time we're in Jersey, I really hope to see you.
Yeah.
'Cause it was always really
Oh yeah,
fun.
definitely in the summer, because you guys would love, if you can get here in the summer, like seeing the kids ride waves and trying
Yeah.
surfing and but all things, like seriously, when you think about your back or staying, I really like flexible and not, being able to avoid injuries and still be able to do all that stuff, because you realize like the older you get, how important it is, I feel like, to be able to still have the flexibility, and not, because I feel like that's where the injury for me would come from like being tight and not, ready for like surfing, where it's things like falls, like skiing, right? Or unpredictable movements. So just trying to stay like healthy for that stuff.
Yeah, it's all about staying healthy, enjoying life, and teaching your kids the really cool athletic skills that they can hold on to for pretty much their lives as they get older. And so it's awesome. Meg, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to help you and sharing your story with the world. I'm really, really excited for the future for you.
No, thank you, Alla. Seriously, I was like life-changing, really. Because that was the other thing. Like, my son goes to a physical therapist real quick. That was, it takes us about an hour and a half there to get there once a week. He's like a specialized, and as I said, his issue is quite special. It's like requires a very special type of treatment. But at the point where I was at my worst, because I would be in the car for an hour and a half, when we would get there, I literally to get out of the car after just sitting for that long, I would be like, the pain would be the worst that it ever was. And it was like ridiculous. I would have to get out, and then I would have to help him. So I'd get out and basically be like deep breaths, but like that all went away. It's crazy. Long car rides, and we do that, as I said, that we did once a week. Other than that, it wasn't really, but it was like absurd, the pain when I would have to get up after sitting that long, and gone. Like, we do the same trip every Thursday. We've been doing it for years, and fine, nothing. But it had been so bad. So yeah, just this was life-changing for me. It really was. Can't thank you enough.
I love it. Meg, thanks for being on today, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye, Ashley. Thank you. Thanks for everything.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you got some help from today's podcast. And for more info, check us out at ifixyoursciatica.com. Have a fantastic and pain-free day. No patient-therapist relationship is formed by listening to this podcast. We are not providing medical advice, and all information should be confirmed by a medical provider.